You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Athan Hristodulu.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I cannot believe the slate of games we just went through this past week. It's October 12th, 2021. I am Athan Hristodulu. You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron. We're doing our Power Rankings edition as we do every Tuesday. What an absolutely wild week of games. I don't really know if you can, you cannot understate that in any way. I mean, I don't know if any of you stayed up last night to watch the game, but I mean, the Ravens coming back and storming back, being down basically 22-3 at one point. Like, we have had such a competitive season of football from start to finish so far, from weeks 1 to 5, and we have so much more left to go through. This was probably the most difficult power rankings to put together so far, aside from like week 1, just because there is so much competitiveness between like teams 11 through 25. It's hard to truly rank them and be able to be like, yeah, I stand by this list 110%. I had a difficult time with that like middle of the pack group of teams, but I think I have it right. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and if you like what we're doing here, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get into the discussion, shall we? If you're watching on YouTube, obviously, you got this nice graphic here. We'll go through all the teams. I break it down into 4 different groups. We'll start out with 32 through 21 first. And to open things up, no real changes for the first bottom 2 teams. 32 and 31, I still have sitting at 32, the Houston Texans, and then at 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of these teams are really struggling. Jacksonville, obviously, the winless team of the two. The Texans I have below because, in my opinion, the Jaguars have been a little bit more competitive than the Texans have, despite the fact the Texans have a win. So if you're wondering why that's set the way it is and you haven't seen the other Power Rankings videos, that is why. Coming in at number 30, we have the New York Jets. I don't really think there was much of a change. I'm trying to see here. So I do have the Jets slipping from 29 to 30, just continuing to struggle. They had that one big game against the Titans, but they're just right back to losing, and I even picked them to win this week against the Falcons, but the Falcons came out, their offense looked really good, and the Jets are just, their offense is really, really struggling, while their defense is surprisingly decent, not great, but decent, and that's really the only strong side of their game. The offense, man, I like Zach Wilson. He has really great throws, and then there's other situations where you can just tell, man, he is struggling to grasp the NFL style of play. Coming in at 29, I have the New York Giants, so both New York teams sitting pretty low on the list here. They have a plethora of injuries. That roster on offense is an absolute mess right now, and I feel for them. It sucks they're so low. DJ got hurt. Saquon Barkley got hurt this week. There is just so much going on over there in New York, and, like depth, you can't really even fill depth for that, because I saw some people talking about it. We need to build depth on the New York Giants, like the fans shouting this. And I'm just thinking, it does not matter how much depth you have when you're missing 3 of your wide receivers, your quarterback, your running back. Like, you're missing 70% of your offense now. Come on, give them a break. You can't really do much about that. Coming in at number 28, I have the Detroit Lions, probably the best team that does not have a win yet. They are so competitive week in and week out, losing in heartbreaking fashion week after week after week. I feel for you Lions fans. You guys are coming close to a victory soon. I can feel it. Hopefully it's soon, maybe even this week. 27, I have the Miami Dolphins. They have just not looked like the 10-6 team they were last year. They have really fallen apart. Obviously, with Tua out, it is not helping the situation that they're in. Things aren't looking good over there in Miami. They just got absolutely whacked by the Buccaneers, as Tom Brady had one of the best games of his career actually against them, with 5 touchdowns, 400 yards. That's the first time he's ever done that in his career. So a tough week and more sliding down the list for the Miami Dolphins. Falcons move up to 26, a couple of spots. Really good showing against a not great team, but respect where respect is. They were able to get the job done despite not having Calvin Ridley. Kyle Pitts finally showed up, got his first touchdown of the season. So big stuff going on for them. this week, at least. Hopefully they can continue to keep that ball rolling, as the Falcons are underperforming, in my opinion. I feel like they are better than their record, but that seems to be the Falcons story the last few years. Coming in at 25, these guys free fell on my power rankings list for reference for you guys. Last week, the Broncos were at 16, and I believe the week prior I had them at 11, but they are now sitting at number 25. They are just continuing to lose to every team that has at least one win. And at this point, I don't really buy what they're selling anymore. The defense was great against those poor teams that they've played those first 3 weeks. But since then, the defense has been fine, but the offense has really been struggling. And I don't know if I can buy what they're selling right now. I need to see them get a win over a team that's worthy before I can start moving them back up this power rankings board. But at this point, they look more like the 25th best team in the league than they do the 3-2 or 3-0 team that they were a couple of weeks ago. At number 24, I have the Colts, who gave I almost just said the Falcons there, the Ravens a run for their money last night in a crazy thriller that went into overtime. Rodrigo Blankenship was having some issues, and they left 7 points on the board from missed field goals, 2 missed field goals and an extra point as well. The Ravens, who started out the game really slow, had 3 points going into halftime, were able to battle it out and get them to a score 25-25 as the game was expiring with in regulation. Overtime was an absolute thriller as the Ravens got the ball and the Colts never got a shot. They're 1-4, but they could very easily be 3-2. So I have them as probably the highest tiered team with only one win. At 23, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who just lost Russell Wilson, bottom of the NFC West right now. The defense is an issue. Without Russell Wilson, I believe the offense is going to struggle as well. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, though, absolute freaks of nature, and I do not want to forget about them. However, I don't have very high hopes for Seattle right now, just based on the current situation that they're in, and I think this is a good place for where they stand. 22, I have the Minnesota Vikings. They actually slipped one spot. You almost lost to the Lions, and that's all I got to say about that. You got the win, but you almost lost to the Lions, who have no wins. At 21, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They slide up a few spots after taking down the Broncos. Everyone thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was dead to rights. They did lose Juju Smith-Schuster this week, which sucks for them. However, it looks like maybe the pec injury isn't bothering Roethlisberger as much as some people to see. I don't know. The Steelers are such a mixed bag team, and I don't know what to make of them, but I feel like this is fine for them right now until we see some more from them. At 21, I'm okay with. Now, revealing 20 through 11. Coming in at 20, I have the Tennessee Titans. They go up a few spots. They're a mixed bag team too. They lost the Jets. They just blew out the Jaguars. I don't really know what to make of them yet. I want to say that they're as good as their 3-2 record says, but I also am not sure about it. The AFC South, in my opinion, is over. I don't want to say underperforming, because the Texans and the Jaguars are where I think they should be. They, both have rookie quarterbacks, that both have rebuilding rosters, but the Titans and the Colts are such a mixed bag right now. I don't really know what to make of both of those teams, because they've both lost and won such close games and lost and won to odd teams. I don't know. 20, I feel feels right for the Titans until I see a little bit more and I see them win convincingly against better teams. I don't know if I can really take what they're selling here. At 19, I have Washington coming off a tough loss. They moved down a couple of spots to the New Orleans Saints. Taylor Heineke is doing a great job fighting for that starting job. I don't know if Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to take over, should he be able to come back anytime soon. But it's starting to look like this is Taylor Heineke's team. I like what he's doing. The defense needs to help out. This was a team that we were talking about the front seven all offseason and has underperformed to this point. And I think that's really what's holding the team back, is the defense as opposed to the offense. At number 18, we have the Eagles, who upset the Panthers this week, got a big win there. I had the Panthers winning the game, and I was very shocked to see the final score. I don't know if that's indicative of how good the Eagles are or just how not good the Panthers actually are, because if you're looking at the screen right now, you'll see where the Panthers are. You listeners, you'll find out in a second. But Eagles are looking solid. They're 2-3. They're in the thick of things for the bottom of the NFC West there. It's like the Cowboys and then everyone else. But we'll have to see where Jalen Hurts can take this team. The defense has looked okay so far, and there have been Devontae Smith. Shout out Devontae Smith. I do want to say that. I feel like a lot of people were worried about his size, and he has performed. And honestly, I think overperformed compared to what a lot of people were expecting from him. He really is looking like that Marvin Harrison comparison that people were throwing out there that were actually not his doubters. And I being one of them, somebody who was excited to see how he played. A lot of people worried about his size. I was a little bit concerned as well, but he has really played well and shined so far in his rookie season. Coming in at 17, we have the Bears taking advantage of a Raiders team that has had a load of issues. Obviously, the big news coming out last night with John Gruden stepping down from the team, but they ripped together a couple of wins here. They're sitting at 3-2. I think this is a better team with Justin Fields than without Justin Fields. He's having some growing pains. Surely, he's a rookie. It's going to happen. He has not had as much playing time as some of these other rookies who have been starting since week 1, but I think this is a better team with Andy Dalton. The defense is showing that they can still be great when necessary, shutting down a Raiders offense that has been prolific through the first handful of weeks of the season, so I like where they're going. From there, we have the Patriots at number 16, squeaking out a win against the Texans. The Texans did surprise them a little bit and came out swinging early on, but once the defense really started to figure things out, Matthew Judon started to take over in that game, got a couple of sacks in there. This defense, they are the number 5 in yards allowed. They are going to carry this team as Mac Jones learns. He is in such a good situation. When we get to like weeks 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and we really start to see the type of quarterback that Mac Jones is going to be, I'll be very excited to see how this team goes, because I think that there's a real possibility that this team sneaks in as like the number 7 seed in the AFC. It's just a matter of if Mac Jones can really get a grasp on the NFL by the time we get into that later portion of the year where you need to be playing and firing on all cylinders and really performing well to sneak your way into the playoffs. The Patriots have a good shot. I believe that. The defense is really good. They got rid of Stephon Gilmore. A lot of people were saying, why did the Patriots do that? They don't need him. They are the number 5 in yards allowed. They don't need him. They do not need him. So take what you can for him. Get rid of the headache. You open up some cap space. Maybe down the road, we still have a few more weeks until the trade deadline. Who knows what the Patriots end up doing if they really feel like they're contending. I understand you don't want to get rid of somebody like Stephon Gilmore, but they did not necessarily need him, and I kind of get where the Patriots are coming from trading him away. At number 15, the Panthers slipping down the board. They get another loss. This is going up against an Eagles team that they probably should not have lost the game against. Sam Darnold is starting to look a little bit more like the Sam Darnold of last year and the few years prior when he was on the Jets, as opposed to the great Sam Darnold we were seeing the first few weeks of the season. I don't know if this is really what we have in Sam Darnold, and he was just, taking advantage of the lesser competition they played in the early part of the season, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of the Panthers. Panthers and Broncos are two of like the weirdest teams right now, I think, because they started out hot and now they're playing against competition that is a little bit stiffer, a little bit better, and they have struggled. I have penalized the Broncos more because the Panthers, I feel, have been more competitive in those games against the good teams, and we just got to see a little bit more from them, but I feel like 15 is a good spot for the Panthers right now. The Chiefs I have falling to 14. They are 2-3. Their defense has looked atrocious, and honestly, they could probably be lower on this list, but I couldn't rationally put anyone else above them that I felt belonged there, because when I think of the Chiefs, and then I think of the Panthers, Patriots, Bears, Eagles, the Chiefs beat the Eagles, and I feel like the Chiefs could beat the Panthers, Patriots, Bears. I could not put them any lower on the list just because of that thinking. Obviously, there's more than just that idea factoring into these rankings, but that was kind of the ultimate decision as to why I'm keeping them at 14. The defense is really bad, but they still have such a loaded offense, and if they can overcome the struggles that they've had, they still have Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. Another loss will really knock them down the board, in my opinion, but right now, 14 I'm okay with. They could potentially be a little bit lower. Then we have the Raiders sitting at number 12. This is a team I'd probably slip a little... 13. I forgot 13. The San Francisco 49ers. Honestly, they moved up on my leaderboard this week. I believe they went from 15 to 13, if I'm not mistaken. They did. The reason being is they took the Cardinals to the absolute limit with Trey Lance starting. This is a team that is so... Kyle Shanahan can really make anything work on offense, it feels like at this point. Whether he's running the football, whether he's throwing the ball, whoever's at quarterback, he is making things happen. The defense is really, really good. They were able to slow a high-powered Cardinals offense. So... as much as I want to penalize them for losing and not being able to get out the win, they fought hard, and they lost in a strong manner. So they do slide up just because of the other teams that are sliding down. I will give them some credit for losing to the Cardinals. They played them, and they played them well. Raiders at number 12. My goodness, do they have a lot going on. John Gruden stepped down. That came out last night during the Monday Night Football game. Good luck to them. They're sitting at number 12 right now, back-to-back losses. They started out 3-0. Hopefully the players and the rest of the personnel on the team can just put this all behind them and get back to playing some winning football, because they were looking really good those first 3 weeks of the season. And now, as these issues have come up with Gruden and, a lot of questions are being asked, I'm sure that was taking away from their preparation and focus. Hopefully they can move past that and just get back to some winning football. Number 11 to round out 20 through 11, I have the New Orleans Saints sitting at 3-2. Offense is looking good. Jameis Winston's still making random mistakes here and there. The defense has been solid so far. They held the Washington football team to only 22 points. But overall, I like what the Saints are doing. I believe in what the Saints are doing. I saw a couple of really good throws from Jameis Winston. He had a deep bomb for a touchdown at one point in the game as well. I believe in what they're doing. It's just going to take Jameis Winston a little bit of time, in my opinion. But I think that the Saints are really going to be into the thick of things when we get towards the playoff race, towards the later half of the season. I really like what they have going on there. Sean Payton is an excellent coach, and he's really making the most of what he has with those pieces there. Now, let's start talking about the better half of the league. We got the 10 through 6. Let's talk about this. Coming in at number 10, I have the Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC North, man. They are horse racing right now. 10 through 8 is pretty much everyone that's not the Steelers in the AFC North. The Bengals at number 10, they took the Packers to the absolute limit. There were just crazy amounts of missed field goals at the end of the game. Bengals had a shot at taking out the Packers after that first Mason Crosby missed field goal, and then another one after that, but they were not able to get the job done. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are continuing to show why they were so dominant in college in the NFL ranks now, and I am a firm believer in what the Bengals are doing. They gave Rodgers some problems early on. They were able to, they were able to move the ball efficiently against the Packers on offense. If that kicking game could have just held it together for one kick, their kicker at one point was celebrating a missed field goal because he thought he made it in. The Bengals could very easily be a little bit higher on this list. I love what's going on over there in Cincinnati. I really think that, Zach Taylor has grown into the head coaching role. This offense is looking really good. Joe Burrow looks like a leader. I am sold on what he is selling. I am all for Joe Burrow over there in Cincinnati. I think he is going to be an absolute stud coming for the next, 10, 15 years, however long he ends up playing over there in Cincy. At number 9, we have the Browns. Tough loss to the Chargers. A DPI call that, in my opinion, was defensive pass interference. I know a lot of people were showing the replay of what Mike Williams was doing on the play. It was initiated, the contact, by the defender. I asked some people that I know that are also referees and just kind of what they thought on it. They also agreed it is DPI when you're looking at it in just like normal play motion. That might be a controversial opinion for some of you people, but I do think it was initiated by the defender and then kind of became like a OPI thing, but you can't penalize them both. It has to be one or the other, and I think the defender was more egregious on the play initially, and then with the whole jersey grab and whatnot from Mike Williams afterwards, I think the defender initiated the contact on that play, and that's ultimately why that happens. Tough loss for the Browns, but the offense looks great. The defense had a really weird bad week because overall this defense has been really good. The sacks, the pressure, the secondary, the linebackers, that whole group has just been excellent so far this year. And unfortunate the Browns came out with a loss in what was a wild shootout and fun game to watch over there between the Browns and the Chargers. At number 8, we have the Ravens. Baltimore squeaked out a win against a Colts team that is probably better than their record. I didn't really move them on the board. They were at number 8 last week. They're sitting at 8 this week. They got the win, but albeit against a team that is 1-4 now. So we'll leave them where they are. I think they are the best team at this point in the AFC North. Lamar Jackson had an absolute monster of a game, 504 total yards, 4 touchdowns. The dude is right into the front running of the MVP race. For all you people that said he was a running back and he was going to get found out, I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson is as good as advertised, and if not better. The dude is an absolute monster at the position. Dallas Cowboys sitting at number 7. Really like what they're doing. Overall, this team looks like they have very little faults. Their defense has been overperforming, in my opinion. I think that they are really showing up, especially some of these really young guys that they have starting out there. Trayvon Diggs, while he is letting up a ton of yards, is making a bunch of turnovers, which matters most at the end of the day. Cowboys look good. Dak Prescott looks good. The running game is back. Ezekiel Elliott's doing his thing. This is a team that hopefully they can stay hot, and hopefully they're not striking the iron too hot too early. Packers rounding out 10 through 6, coming in at number 6. Squeaked out a victory against the Cincinnati Bengals in a wild overtime thriller there. Tons of missed field goals left and right. But this team has continued to find ways to win when it mattered most. They got thrashed by the Saints week 1, but since then have either won in dominating fashion or have won and won the tight games they need to against these good teams that they're playing. They beat a top 10 team, in my opinion, in the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Sitting at number 6, I'm comfortable having them there. Now, to round things out, top 5, if you've made it all the way through, this is what everyone's waiting for, I'm sure. Coming in at number 5, I have the Chargers. Have looked excellent so far this year. I love what they're doing on offense. I love what they're doing on defense. Staley has been an awesome head coach to listen to watch him call the game, that the fearlessness he has on fourth down. The Chargers are one of the best in the AFC, in my opinion. They're above the Cowboys, who actually beat them a few weeks ago. Not to slight the Cowboys at all, but I'm a little bit of a bigger fan of what the Chargers got going on there. And the way I look at the Cowboys and Chargers is like, if you had them play each other 10 times, it would probably end up splitting 5-5, 6-4, one team or the other. But I'm buying what the Chargers are selling just a little bit more than what the Cowboys got going on right now. Coming in at number 4, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them slipping down on the board here. I have them coming. They were at number, I'm sorry. No, I kept them at number 4. That's right. They did not move this week. Have them at number 4. They took down a Dolphins team that they should be taking down, that I expected them to beat. But I don't really think I can move them up just based off of what's going on with the top 3 teams here. But Buccaneers continuing to dominate the bad teams that they should be and keeping their record at a nice 4-1. LA Rams come out with a big win over the division rival against the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Russell Wilson went down, but they were able to seal out the game 26-17. They are sitting at number 3. They slipped down one spot from last week. The reason being is because the team that slipped in above them, the Buffalo Bills, have continued to just drop points at will against everybody. They put up 38 against the Chiefs this week. I think since week 1, they have not put up anything less than 35. Their offense is amazing. Their defense is amazing. They are first in offensive yards forced, and then they are first in defensive yards allowed. They are first in scoring as well. I mean, this Buffalo Bills team is legit. They have done it against great teams, bad teams. The week 1 thing is an anomaly at this point. Maybe it was because it was week 1. I don't know. But this Buffalo Bills team, best in the AFC. And then staying in at number 1, they won a tight one against their division rivals. Those are the games you want to see the best team in the league win, and they did so, sitting at 5-0. The Arizona Cardinals continue to dominate the league and be the surprise of the NFL. But not too surprising to me because I expect them to be pretty good this year. So that is my top 32. Let me know what you guys think of the power rankings. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? But that is all I got for you guys today. I will catch you on Thursday we might do another video this week. We'll see. But if not, it'll be on Thursday for the Thursday night preview. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays. Have a good one.